Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Under the Scope podcast. Today, we're going to be introducing a new member of the community, someone that was introduced to us by Fez herself. So let's go ahead and bring on LHR. Let's get to know who he is, who he really is, and how do you come up with that gamer tag. So, we love telling those stories. So give us a second, and we'll bring him in. Hey, what's up, LHR? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Another Friday, another podcast, and I'm excited to learn a little bit about you and for us to be able to tell your story. So first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast. Appreciate you being here. Like I said, we love telling people stories. We've heard you're our 10th episode, so big milestone already. It's been crazy the past few weeks. It's been a lot of people jumping on and wanting to tell their stories, and that's so huge thanks to Fez for helping us out, making sure this happened. So thank you, Fez, for that. Appreciate you, and there's a lot more coming. So just hang tight. But anyways, getting back to you, LHR. I always ask this question to get started. So, where did you get the gamer tag?
Let's see. All right. Well, LHR actually has its own personal meaning. It's loyalty, honor, respect. The whole name has a meaning to it. It's loyalty in life, honor in death, respect the living, live or die. It was all one thing. It came from a military background. Um, Originally, my name was because it gives you like a random name when you first start out, and then you change it on your own. It was actually Cooker Sphinx, which was kind of funny.
Wait, what was it?
But Cooker Sphinx.
Okay.
And then I just kind of switched it to LHR Live or Die just due to my own personal background. I always got called, a cheater or this or that. And I was like, hey, you're either going to live with me or you're going to die with me. Your choice. So it just kind of stuck from there.
Who is behind the gamer tag? Who is behind LHR Live or Die?
A little kid that was adopted that grew up in a family that we were pretty distant apart from each other, so we never really spent a bunch of time doing things. I was always out in the woods doing my own thing, and then I had an older brother. His name was John, and he was like, hey, I got this PC, you want to come watch me play? I used to sit there when I was 6, 7 years old just watching my brother play for hours on end. He was Counter-Strike, Age of Empires. It wasn't World of Warcraft back then, it was Warcraft back then. And I would just sit there and game. It just became an interest after a while. And then he finally started teaching me little things about how to do this. He was the only one that I was allowed to play. He wouldn't let any of my other brothers play. It was just me. He'd get mad. And when they all ended up moving out of the house, it was just me left in the house. And I kind of needed something to do because you're so used to being around brothers and sisters for 16 years of your life. And then they move out. And I picked up gaming and was like, I'm just going to keep doing this and keep doing this. And I started getting really good at it. I went to a lot of tournaments through, what was the name of that company? Play and Trade. They used to do a lot of tournaments in North Carolina, and I would go to them and just have fun, relax. Because every time I watched somebody who was like, oh, I'm going to do the best I can. They were trying too hard, basically. They'd always end up losing on a dumb mistake. And you see these other guys, they'd sit there, they'd be all relaxed, and they're doing just fine. So I learned that I needed to be relaxed when I was doing stuff. And it became a hobby. I met so many friends through it. It was ridiculous. Still, like Wolfman and Swervin and them, I've known them for 12, 13 years now, I'd say, something like that.
That's a long time, man. That's amazing. Now, did you compete with them as well? Were they like teammates of yours, or you just met online?
Okay, so me and Wolfman, back then his name was Wolf God. He's switching out to Fenrir. Me and him competed. Swervin, we never competed, but we've done a few tournaments through what me and him have through Warzone tournaments. Can't remember what website we used, but me and Wolf competed in Black Ops 2 days. I ended up going pro for a little bit. that was fun. I mean, the enjoyment I had back then doing that. We became pro as a group, and we went pretty far, but nationals just wasn't ever a thing for us back then. You probably don't know the name, but MEA, and they were with Vanity.
Yes, I remember them.
Okay, that's who we played for.
Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, so um, and I don't remember the guy's name, but he was kind of really heavy set guy, and they used to do jerseys. Do you remember those guys?
Heavy set guys that used to do the teal looking jerseys.
Yeah, they used to do all the esports jerseys, and they were like actually really cool. They were based out of, I forgot where exactly in the East Coast, but then they went under, and they didn't show up with like 100 orders for teams, and they just disappeared. But that guy was, I remember, he was part of that tournament, and we were there supporting him, and that's where I met all the people from that organization you're referring to.
I think I know what you're talking about because if I remember right, they fell off just due to um, they were just having like their own legal disputes with between each other, and they wanted to go certain directions, and some guys wanted to go other directions with it, and they kind of just split up into two different companies now. Um, because we were sponsored by Amp Energy Drink back then,
Yep, I remember AMP.
and they don't sponsor people anymore. I can't get a sponsor through them to say anything.
You know, a lot of the energy drink companies went away, especially now that you have like these bigger ones, right? Like Celsius, G Fuel. G Fuel's always been here, man, and they've been there, and they're gonna continue to be here. I think there were the guys that made our jersey. Potentially, they made a lot of jerseys, man. And let me tell you, they made so many jerseys. So they could have been it. If I remember the guy's name, I'll mention it. But they also had an esports team. And so that's why I was trying to remember who they were, because they used to put every which, I mean, I'm telling you, like the last time they didn't show up to the competition with 100 teams jerseys. I mean, there was 300 teams that used to show up to these Call of Duty events. And so it was 100 teams with no jerseys, and these guys didn't show up. It started with an R. I don't know if you remember. I know it started with an R, and it was a big heavy set dude. Oh man, now it's gonna kill me.
It's going to kill me. The only thing I can remember is I'm thinking of his name was Jose Riviera. That's the only guy I can think. No, not Riviera. What was it? No, Jose something. I have him on my Facebook. I still have friends with him. Um, he's the one that actually helped me get the New Jersey that I have now. That I've been trying to incorporate, getting my own brand out there. So he helped me with that one. But that's Jose. He was part of that organization. He was one of the guys that split off from him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like it's just so much has changed, hasn't it? I mean, just think back then till now, a lot has changed.
A lot has changed just due to the fact of, I mean, back then I felt like it was more competitive back then. Now you're getting obviously it's still as competitive, but there's not a lot of people. You get to a certain stalemate in gaming where you're stuck at a same level and you can't progress any further because there isn't something out there that's going to help you get better at the game. You got to physically learn to get better at the game. Whereas, you got people who use controllers. Once you've mastered the controller, like people start doing the claw where they put their hand on the joystick or on the R1 and R2 and they claw it to where they can hit their triangle and stuff like that. You only can go so far with a controller, and then you got your PC people. I think it's got to the point where everybody's at that stalemate where it's like they're not progressing; they're just staying at the even slope. And I think that's where the competitiveness has dropped off because everybody's just they're stalemating and they're not getting any higher. They're just staying where they're at.
And you're not wrong. And gaming has come a long way, Olaf, but I believe it's come in the wrong way. Before it was all about the gamers, the competitions, and everything. Everyone was focused on that. Now everyone's focused on just content creation, and and there's no, and it's sad to say, but the communities from before, where there was clans, like true clans, is I feel like it's not here anymore, man. We're missing that. That's really really missing from the whole picture. And I think if the games and Activision, everyone can figure out a way to get that, clan versus clan and all that back, and allow for amateur competitions to happen, where they're pretty much gone right now. They're being done by third parties. Then you'll have an explosion back of a lot more competitive gamers again.
Completely agree with that because I've been running the same group, the same clan. I mean, we've switched names and departed a few times, and but we've kept basically the same group of people. We've been clan, and the whole clan wars thing stopped happening. Really, I want to say Ghost is where it kind of just fell off, and that was where I was like, okay, Call of Duty's starting to go on a downfall a little bit, and that's when we, as a clan, switched to Rainbow Six Siege. We got really good at Rainbow Six Siege, but I've always said that we need to keep the clan together. We've become a family, but the clan thing is if we could bring that back, that'd be great and awesome. But you said that a lot of people focusing on content creation and stuff like that. I see it more as a lot of people are focusing more on the money than they are of the gaming aspect of things. We play games to relax ourselves and to have fun, and people have taken it to a little bit more seriousness where obviously we can make money through streaming and stuff like that, but if that's the only mindset that you have to stream or get your name out there, you're not going to go anywhere, because you need to create a community that understands that you can have fun, you can joke around. And I think that's where people are kind of falling off, is they're so set on that mindset. I want to make money through gaming, not I want to be a good player and actually show my talent.
I agree. I agree, honestly. And I think that, like I said, somehow, one way, shape, or form, a lot of the gamers from old school gaming to now, we kind of had to pivot drastically to that scenario, because and honestly, there's, even if you don't want to pivot, I've seen where even the bigger influencers that have been here, like you look at the Nick Mercs, the Tim the Tatmans and everything, they chat with people, they kid around, but at the end of the day, that whole, feeling welcomed into their community is gone, man, because they're so big, it doesn't matter. You're just another person, you're just another number, another sub. And I really really believe that that's all gone. I mean, you look at Nick Merce, his gauntlets are done, and again, nothing, I mean, that's his own money and great, but he also had sponsors and everything, and that's all gone as well. And so there's not a lot for the communities, and so I'm hoping that a lot of the people we talked here at the podcast at Under the Scope, they want to build communities, they want that kind of back, without them saying they want it back. They're focusing on growing that community, like you just spoke about, and so I think that you're on the right path. You guys have your community, you have your clan, and there's other people that want to feel part of that type of group, and I think that I hope, and really what I'm focused on is that this podcast allows people to be able to communicate with each other and see that, hey, you know what, we really do want the same thing. Why don't we try to work together to build a community where we can all accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, and then help each other out to get to where we need to get. So you've been in the gaming, you've been a pro competitive player. What is it that you're trying to do? Obviously, you stream. Am I correct?
Yes, I do stream.
Let me ask you, how long have you been streaming, and then what is your goal that you're trying to get to?
Technically, I've been streaming for 3 years. Let me see. My biggest, I've had somebody following me since the beginning of since I got my sub button. So he's at 30 something months. So yeah, 3 or 4 years I've been streaming. I did a little bit on YouTube, but YouTube was never really my thing. My goal is I want to teach people what I know. I've actually been a part of a few organizations to help coach um, Call of Duty teams, Warzone teams. That's what I want to do. I want people to understand the knowledge that I have and understand how to get better at the game. I'm not. Yeah, people love my gameplay. People come into my stream for my gameplay, but I've also gotten messages from some of my viewers saying, "Hey, I've gotten better just by watching you." That's what I want. I just want people to come in and learn. The more I can help out other people and get them better, the happier I'll be. And that's the whole point that I want to get across, is just to teach people. And it's not even just Call of Duty. You know, I do it with Dark Souls, Bloodborne. I mean, any game really. It's all about teaching people how to get better at games. And I think what the problem nowadays is, there's, especially in a lot of these games, is there's skill gaps that people don't see. Um, a lot of the, TikTokers and stuff, high end streamers say there's no skill gap. Problem is, there's actually a huge skill gap, and people don't know how to adjust to it correctly. And that's why I've been trying to help people adjust to seeing that skill gap. And hey, now, especially with Call of Duty and all the weapon tuning you have, this matters. And because it works for a pro player does not mean it's going to work for you. And we got to find the adjustment for you. Well, I'll have people all the time come to me, "Hey, what's the build for this gun?" All right, well, I'm going to tell you the build for this gun. I'm going to tell you how I tune it, but let's adjust it for you, because I can control my recoil better than you, but I don't know how well you can control your recoil. So I'm going to sit here and watch you for a little bit, see how you can control your recoil, and then we're going to adjust your build off of that. So that's what I want to do. I want to sit there and be like somebody you can come to and be like, "Hey, I saw this TikTok build. Can you test it out for me and give me hints of what would make it better for me personally?" Not just take that build and run with it.
Everyone wants to be there for people and help out people, but everyone has a different way of approaching it. You know, your approach is much more different than anyone else's that I've talked to so far, and it's great. Is it coaching is really what you're trying to do ultimately, or is it, you know, building your community, coaching, and also becoming a streamer, creating content? You know, what is it that you're really trying to accomplish here?
I'm trying to make like some type of gaming company to help people who want to become pros get out there. I want to create a company that allows me to, okay, so I have two names underneath me. You know, I have Norse Gaming, which is the company name, and then I have like Team Sinister. Well, with that team, I can put these people on that team and be like, well, I'm going to promote you, get you to these tournaments. I'll help coach you, and we'll go through this. That's what I want to do. I'll help you get to those steps to become that pro. Obviously, you know, you don't really see people, 30 years old or your age, still doing the pro circuit. And I think that's good but bad. I still say that, a lot of these pro players, you see they're 28 years old, they typically stop playing. And keep playing. If you're good, you're good. Don't let the age define you. And that's what I want to show. I want to prove that even though I have a bunch of 30, 40-year olds or, still playing with me that are great, even at that age, we can still go to these competitions and still win. I want to prove that to the world, that it doesn't have to be this set in stone thing where, oh, from the age of 18 to 28 is like your climax of gaming and your peak of gaming, where you shouldn't, after 28, you shouldn't be doing pro circuits anymore. I mean, if you look at like League of Legends, World of Warcraft streamers, especially pro League of Legends player, I think there's a 45-year-old, 47-year-old pro League of Legends player
Yeah.
that's still destroying to this day.
Your reaction time doesn't start dying down until the age of 39. So technically, that's why Formula One race drivers are the have to have the fastest reaction time. And there's a 38-year-old, Formula One race driver, and they retire at 39. Or they do their 39th year and then they retire right after that because they start declining.
You want a
Anything else?
trick about helping your reaction time? Do what I do every day.
All
Before I
right.
start gaming, I take a little bouncy ball. It's about yay big around probably. and I'm chucking it against the wall as hard as I can, and I'm not looking at the ball. I never look directly at the ball and where I threw it. I'm wanting to see out of my peripheral vision where the ball is going to be, and I try to catch it and throw it back at the wall. And I constantly do that, just because a lot of people, when they're working on the reaction time, they're looking straight at the object that they're bouncing it against, and or reaction time with a baseball or basketball, stuff like that. They're looking at it. If you look away from it and use your peripherals, that even helps in gaming, because a lot of people, they have the issue of getting tunnel vision, they get so tunnel vision on everything that's right in front of them. They're not seeing out of the peripheral vision that there's a guy moving to their right. And being able to sit there and do that training constantly, and you swap sides, right? So if you start out with your right side, then you go to your left side. And it's helped me kind of keep my reaction time where it was, and also improved it a little bit, just because of the fact that I noticed the smallest little detail of a movement, just because I've trained myself that, oh, something's moving out of the corner of my eye, I need to kind of look over there real quick. So you do that quick glance to look over there, you see it's a person. So when you're gaming and you get that tunnel vision where you're just looking straight down the scope and you're not paying attention to your surroundings, I've seen friends of mine and other streamers, they get so tunnel vision that they're so focused on the one person. And it's like, well, you're fighting a team of 4. Where are the other 3? This is stuff you got to think about, stuff you got to maneuver yourself around, and understand that it's not all about that one fight. You got to think in the bigger picture of, how am I going to maneuver myself or put myself in a position that's going to help my team? And it just comes down to like your brain process. So if you can sit there and get to the point where your peripherals can process that there's smallest movement, and you glance over it, that's perfect, and it helps just improve your overall gameplay in general.
It's been obviously educational, very fun. Thank you for obviously again the opportunity. Is there anything else that you would like for people to know about you, LHR, that we might have not said yet?
Well, this is something that a lot of my community members have understood, and you talked a while back about that guy who wanted to be there to help mentally for people and stuff like that. And I don't think people understand how real that is. I'm just a month ago, I had a surgery that removed the last part of the cancer that I've been dealing with, and I have 2.5 months left of chemo as a recession to finish. And I've been dealing with that for almost 2 years now. And I don't think I would have been where I'm at physically and especially mentally if I didn't have those friends around me. It was mainly gaming friends that I went to and talked to and got supported by. And, there was times where I couldn't play certain games, and they would be like, hey, well, let's play this game because I know you're still good at this game. And the fact that they were there, willing to be there for me, you got to find that group that's willing to do that. You can't just, if you're constantly in a situation where your mental health isn't that great, look to your gaming friends. I don't think a lot of people realize that if your gaming friends are really as friends as they say, they're going to be there. And all mine were, and it was, the help I got from them was tremendous. It's something that I think that everybody should strive for, is getting that community to be that way. And everybody looks at it as, well, this is just somebody I game with. No, make that person your brother. Make that person your sister. Get to know them as family. Once you get to know them as family, you'll see that it opens up so many other doors to other situations that are so helpful to you and them, mentally, physically. Just, it helps calm you down. It's the way, and obviously you can see them saying Norse family for life. We are a very Viking related clan.
Well, let me tell you, man. First of all, uh, it's actually honestly great to see that you have a great community and great group of friends. I can't say it enough. It really does matter, this great group of friends. And what's crazy is, one of the things I've learned, again, I'm 41 years old, and I grew up with five best friends, and honestly, I only talk to one because we grow out of our, of what we had in common when we were kids. And as we start growing, you start meeting your grown up friends, right? Who are your ride or dies, if you will. And so I've met a lot of awesome people too through this gaming community. A lot of people that I still talk to for now over a decade in the gaming, that I feel I've known them forever. I've been there for them. They've been there for me, and it's just a different feeling, man. I don't even know how you explain that. It's such a big bond when you have that community with you, especially going through what you're going through, man. I'm glad to hear that everything's, your surgery went well, and I'm gonna keep you in my prayers, man, that everything continues to go well. And in the next 3 months, you'll be in remission, and you'll be starting to actually continue to plan out your life and everything, man. Honestly, man, like I said, I just lost I lost my father 2 years ago, and shortly after that, my godmother, his sister-in-law, also passed away, and she passed away from lost her battle of 11 years with cancer, and so I know it's very difficult, but you again, man, I think you got it. You know what you want to do, man. And honestly, man, I cannot see, anything else now than seeing you a year from now where you're at, with all this that you're trying to do, and with the group of people that you have. And not only that, but also with the new people that have now seen, and the people that will hear your story, man. I really think you got a motivating story. I think you're trying to accomplish something great. You're trying to do good for the community and everything you've done for the COD community, because there's nothing that sucks more than not having someone to turn to when you're going through what you're going through. And I'm telling you, because I haven't had what you've had, and I'm not going to compare to it, but I've been in surgeries, man, where there's nobody there, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy that I would expect my friends to be there, my life friends, but instead of the people I grew up with, I had all my gaming buddies there calling me like, "Hey, man, you doing all right?" Like, they check up on me, and that's crazy, man. I've never experienced that until now with gaming, and so I honestly, if you guys haven't been part of a group or part of the community, I recommend you guys start looking into it, because it's really different.
I said earlier I was adopted, and when I turned 18, um, I came and met my biological mom, and she was with my stepdad, and he's a huge reason why I got great at like Dark Souls, World of Warcraft. It got to the point that when he passed away, that my biological family, because they didn't raise me, they known of me for a little bit, right? And
Yeah.
um, they kind of disowned me. They left. They don't talk to me anymore. None of them, except for one of my sisters. She says hi every now and then. Um, but when that happened, it hit me hard, because it was like, y'all are supposed to be family. And I turned to Wolf, I turned to Adios, Rabbit, I turned to all those guys and was like, hey, I need help. I'm struggling. And those guys, man, they stepped up. Um, they really pulled through for me. I want to help grow this community more for them than I do for myself.
The amazing part is, it's the individuals that you think, and I don't want to say it in the wrong way, but that they're in the back of your mind, knowing that they're there, but you don't know that they're going to be the ones that come to the front and actually take ownership of helping you get through certain situations. And that is really, really the toughest part, that we as individuals have to go through when there's losses. you know, and I don't know, man. I don't even know what to call it. Like, I don't want to say real friendship, because, there's friends that we have outside, but just gaming itself is so different, man. Like,
Like gaming itself, so when people get on the game, that a lot of people, they get on the game to relax themselves and get away from what is going on out in the real world. And I think it gets to the point that these people that are your friends on gaming, because they're trying to escape things in their own life, that or situations that are going on around them, you connect at a much deeper level, in my opinion, than somebody that, say, if I was to go to the bar and go have a few drinks and talk to somebody that I meet, I'm not going to get that same connection, just because, to me, gaming friends are more open about things going on together, and you see another side of people when you're gaming, whereas out in public, most of those sides are hidden. They're hiding themselves. And I think that's where gaming kind of has a step above other situations when it comes to understanding each other, is that side comes out that you're not going to see in person. And that's just generally true, that, as open as I am at through gaming, in person, might be pretty quiet at first. And that's the thing. That's just how it goes. And I think that's just, something that gets overlooked sometimes.
Well, man, listen, man, I honestly, again, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. Where can people find you if they're looking to be part of your community?
Uh, on my Twitch page, I have a link to my Discord, and we welcome anybody. The only thing, obviously we ask for is we want the drama to stay away, because, not your own personal life drama, like
Yeah.
we're there to help and talk with you if you want to talk. We're talking about, don't start drama with somebody else in the community. Yeah, Discord would be the best way. I mean, my Facebook's also linked to my Twitch as well, so I have no problem if they hit me up on Facebook as well, if they want to link to the Discord through that way or something like that, or just want to play with me sometime.
Listen, man, any last words for stream, YouTube?
I appreciate you all, and I would love to continue to build this community the best way we can. All help and advice, it will be heard. We won't turn down anybody's suggestions or anything. And I just want to thank, Norse Gaming for being there in my hard times, and for understanding, this thing it takes time. And I thank you all.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. Skitty, thank you for the 31 months, brother. Damn, it's been that long, huh? Jeez. So, but yeah, LHR, man, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time, man. Again, we're going to go ahead and edit this and make sure that it gets edited and put up there, and I'll make sure you get the link by, latest Monday. So appreciate you, man, for your time. Thank you again, man. And we'll definitely, you're in my Discord now. So, we'll definitely get some games. Just let me know when you're on. I right now, for some reason, my schedule's just been all over because of all the projects I'm a part of, but I try to get in the mornings. And then anytime between like 12 and 2 p.m., I play again a bit. And then I get back on in the evenings as well, if time allows. So,
if you don't mind DMing me a link to your Discord, and I'll post it mine, and my people can join the Discord.
Okay.
Or if you have it in chat or something, they can click on it.
But yeah, exclamation point Discord. So
more than happy to get them in the Discord as well. They're a great group of people. I mean, they're all over the place. They're very funny. They joke about a lot of things. Make some crude jokes sometimes too, but hey. It is what it is.
Hey man, listen, we're grown folks here. I think we could take it. So, but listen, man, again, we appreciate you, man, being here. Thank you so much for your time. We'll go ahead and let you go.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one, guys.
All right, man. See you, man. Thank you again. All right, everyone. Yo, man, that was great. That was awesome. I enjoyed it. LHR, man, appreciate you taking the time again to come in the podcast and really talk about it, man. Listen, I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have emotions and they put everything into it, but today was a little different, man. I got to admit it. I felt a little different. LHR, you really opened up to us and the community and to everyone that's going to be watching this video. And I think people are going to genuinely, understand where you're coming from and how great gaming's going to be. gaming can be, I should say, the community, especially if you have the right individuals surrounding you. And I think, you know, as more and more stories come out like yours, and people continue to open up as well as you did, I think the more the people that don't understand really why we game will start to grasp a little bit more of, hey, you know, there is a safe haven. There is a way to be able to talk to different people the way we can't talk to maybe our loved ones. And so I think there's a lot that goes to be said based on today's interview with you, man. So I really appreciate it. And again, guys, thank you for tuning in on this 10th episode of Under the Scope podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode of Under the Scope podcast.